was that?
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 90. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
Doug feeding him stuff in his face.
Yeah, last minute.
Last minute. How's it going, Doug?
Not too bad. Very excited.
You ready for a podcast?
I am. Been doing a little first run through paint and tech list. So that's been fun.
Nice. I'm like making sure everything is set up here.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, my fault. I was out running some errands, and then when I got home, I had an unexpected guest. So it took me a little while to
You're like, hey, I got a podcast. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. He started off with, I knew you'd be here soon because of the podcast. Yeah, then you should know I need to go right now.
You should know that, I got something to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of a kickback, lazy, rainy Friday. But
I'm loving this weather.
About to get a lot more exciting for you guys because we are the Grizzled Geek, the premier geek podcast on Friday night. And by premiere, I mean the first one. Because after this, you guys have a choice. Look at this. It's like an abundance of geekness for you guys. So after our show ends, a half hour later, you have your choice between the Absolute Geek Podcast, where they go on about more general geek stuff and more in comic books, or you could join us over on the Grizzled War Master, where we're going to do the Podcast to Glory podcast about Age of Sigmar and other tabletop gaming, miniature gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have that our first podcast tonight on that one. So definitely, if you want to come over, jump over there and continue on with the fun that is the Grizzled Geek, you can definitely do that over there. We're going to be there tonight, talking about all kinds of deep nerd stuff. But yeah. So how's your week been, Doug? Anything super exciting?
Good. No, just been doing lots of painting. So
lots of painting, getting ready.
A little bit on him. There's right up here on the top of this shelf is a bunch of wardens, Lumineth wardens that I've been getting starting touches on.
Nice.
Trying to get them, getting all their pikes painted, getting the highlights on their armor painted. So I shouldn't say highlights. The basics of their armor. The basics of their armor. But that's a lot of like trim and stuff is,
Right.
So
important stuff. I've been painting giants.
Yeah.
Trying to finish that off before I dive deeper into the Cruel Boys. But we'll get all into that. We'll talk about that later today. Right now, let's go over this. Guys, welcome. We've got quite a few listeners on here that prefer to listen to us, listen to their podcast as opposed to check us out on YouTube, which I don't blame them. But if you're one of those listeners that are like, hey, that sounded like a sight gag, or I want to see what these handsome sounding men look like, you can check us out on youtube.com/thegrizzledgeek, where we do this live every Friday, or you can check us out on the Grizzled War Master, which we also on Friday. We're just starting our new podcast over there about gaming tonight. So either way, guys, you can check us out there, but you can catch us on YouTube. We're on streaming on Twitch. We can check us out on Facebook. We stream all over the place, guys, and we have it recorded for you. So you want to listen to us, like you continue to listen to us, please feel free. Absolutely, guys. So we've been getting a lot of comments on our older videos. So a lot of you guys are checking out some of our older videos, trying to keep up with some of the comments. Although I got to warn you, if I said something like 2 years ago, probably had no idea what I meant at that point. It's like, how could you say this? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what context that is. I recorded that video 2 years ago. That's ancient. I don't remember that. I don't remember what I did this morning. But I say stuff. That's what I do. And then
off the cuff.
It's kind of like, wow, whatever. I just say stuff and it happens. So, guys, thank you for joining us. We are going to jump into some news here. We're going to talk Masters of the Universe Revelation. All right. So, Masters of the Universe Revelation dropped on Netflix last night, guys. And I was like, okay, I'll check out the first episode so I can make an opinion on it, because there's a whole bunch of opinions out there right now, guys. But I'm like, you know what? I want my own opinion. I don't want to listen to these guys. I want to have my own opinion. So I watched that, and I'm like, you know what? If I just stay up a little bit later, I just watch the first 3. You really need the first 3 to get an understanding of what an episode is, of what the series is about, right? I can't go tomorrow and talk about a series without seeing the first 3 episodes. And then I'm like, you know, they're only not even a half hour long. I should probably just finish it off. There's only 5 episodes in the first half of the season, and that's all that's out right now. I could finish it off. So I did. So I've watched all 5 episodes of Master Universe Retaliation. Now, before I get into what I think about this, let's see what some people are people are saying about it here. It's got a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof.
Since it's premiered. Yeah. It's got 97 from critics and 42 from viewers. So there's once again, usually if there's a big divide between critics and viewers, it's usually because of the reason why people have part of are usually controversial, right? Like they'll say like, and in this case, all right, here's the thing. There was a leak about you know what? We'll get into the controversy here in a minute. First, I want to tell you what I liked about it. Okay, let's go over that real quick. Say something nice first. First off, great animation. The animation is amazing. If you saw that trailer for it, you know, you knew, even if you haven't seen the series yet, you know. And we're not going to get into spoilers until maybe later. We'll give you a spoiler warning. So right now, we're just going over. The animation was amazing. I kind of missed the old He-Man theme song, but the thing is with this property, it's owned by a lot of different people. All right, a lot of different pieces are kind of parted out, and the old theme song was owned by somebody else. So this is the old original Mattel, who owns the line, right? So it's based on the toys and the old cartoon, and you could totally tell it's based on the toys because they use a lot of images and stuff straight out of the toys, right?
Okay.
So for instance, like the animated opening intro for the show is awesome, and it's all the box art. If you ever collected, if you're not an 80s kid like us, and you never collected Master of the Universe stuff way back in the day, you know, talk to your dad about it because he probably collected it, you youngins. But the box art had this awesome painted art on the box, right? It was, and you had these big posters they put out with the figures, and they're all paintings that were done. And they did covers. They had like comic books, little mini comics that had great artwork as well. Well, all that artwork is used in that intro, including I was sitting there going through, reliving my childhood, going like I had that poster that they're showing, right? And they're showing all the characters. Yeah. Right, and then they're animated, and they get into the pose from the poster, right? At the end of that, you know, they all coming together, and you're like, "Wow, this is a poster to sell action figures," and it's right here in this credits. It's amazing. Likewise, in the show goes into showing all the vehicles and you know figures and everything from the toy line is in there. They even have I like the use of the deep Eternian lore. They go into the lore of Eternia, the backstory that hardly anybody knows. If you just watched the old cartoon, you know, there's a lot of lore in there. For instance, the Trollans, which are basically where Orko's race was, who created magic, and how Eternia is a center of magic in the universe and a whole bit. They go back into that storyline. You have to see characters that were action figures, but were part of the deep lore that a lot of people don't know about, like Scareglow, which was like the glow-in-the-dark skeleton head guy. Hero, which was like the He-Man hero before. That's why He-Man has an H on his chest, because it's a symbol for hero. Who held the sword before him. It's got King Grayskull, like the original founder of the Power Sword and the whole bit, so he's got these guys.
Nice.
It goes deep into the lore. I will say that Kevin Smith and the writers of the show definitely have love for these characters and definitely, know the lore. Okay. However, I will say, on its own, if this was presented the way it was to us, if it was presented differently, it'd be like one of those things like, okay, well, I can live with this. I like it. It's nostalgic. It touches all the right beats. However, it was sold to us differently than what it is. Okay. If you watch that trailer, you were sold a completely different show than what we got. Okay. Yeah. And the controversy here is with Kevin Smith, because there was, and I love Kevin Smith. First off, I love Kevin Smith. I'm a huge fan of his. Very little of, can't think of anything he would do that make me not want to watch his stuff that he does. But it looks like he lied to us. And I don't know why he did. It doesn't make sense. So there was an article that came out, Clownfish TV did it, saying that, okay, they heard from an insider that this is, that He-Man steps aside and this is Teela's show and that, all this stuff, right? And he was saying all this from an insider. And Kevin Smith came out and went hard against these guys, right? Like called them out specifically. They got a lot of backlash from this, right? Kevin Smith, I even have his quotes on here, his tweet. Initially, the first one was like, with all due respect to at Screen Rant, because Screen Rant came out with the same article, right? Same source. I've read every Master's official script for our shows, plus wrote a few, and viewed 4 amazing animatics. While Teela is present, as she's always been in the MOTU adventures, she plays a big role. Its series is literally all about He-Man. That's what he said, right? And then he came out and went hard against like Clownfish TV specifically, and I'm not a fan of theirs, but there was several YouTubers that kind of posted this news, and he kind of came out hard against them. And then one of these quotes here was, as showrunner, I really could have used these suggestions before we locked scripts. However, no, He-Man does not step aside, and Teela has no girlfriend in our show. The storytelling is pretty dark and way metal. Before Revelations, we were calling it End of the Universe. Okay, those are quotes from Kevin Smith directly.
Right.
And now everyone was like, okay, so then the critics started came out with their kind of reactions to it early on. And while a lot of them liked the show, they were all saying stuff like, saying stuff that made it look like they were correct. The people that reported to this, saying this is Teela's show. Grace Randolph even came out and said there's no strong male characters in this for a show based on, toys, designed for boys. There's no strong male characters in here. And there's even a couple critics came out and said that while Teela doesn't have a girlfriend in this, if these people are not together, they're queer baiting, because they're basically teasing that they are, right, without actually coming out and saying that they are. So people were starting to feel vindicated, like, hey, did Kevin Smith lie to us? And so then they have this clip out there of Kevin Smith saying stuff like he was never a He-Man fan. He said this on Comic Book Men. There was an episode where he's like, well, I wasn't a fan of He-Man. And he was saying, and part of it is just like, was saying like, I watched He-Man religiously from 80 to 81. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, the show didn't come out to 83. And I'm like, come on. As someone close to Kevin Smith's age, I can't tell you dates, you know what I mean? I can get off the guy for being off on the dates. Like, I can give you stuff that happened in the 90s. I just couldn't put them in chronological order for you. That was a lot of partying alcohol during that time. But so I don't blame him for that. So I'm like, okay, who's right? Okay, who's right? Did Kevin Smith lie to us? Because he came out pretty hard against these accusations, right? So I'm like, there's no way. But here, where I'm going to tell you from what I saw, and going forward, spoilers. So if you have not watched it, If you don't want to know what happens in the show, by all means, come back, watch the show later. We'll be here. It'll be here on YouTube.
All right.
So I watched them, and it is Tila's show. Absolutely. I don't know how they can say that He-Man, the show is, literally about He-Man, when He-Man dies in the first episode.
Wow.
So He-Man and Skeletor die in the first episode. And he's
unambiguously so, or
no? I mean, he was a big heroic. It's like the climactic end to a series happened in episode 1, right? And then they skip ahead a little bit after in episode 2, right? And the rest of these 5 episodes, I gotta admit, there's only 5 episodes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rest of these 5 episodes is Tila and her friend going on adventures to save the world. Now, He-Man is in every episode as a flashback remembered by Tila, for a small little scene, a small little flashback.
Now, have we seen all of the scenes that were in the
trailer?
In the trailer.
Yeah, every scene you see with He-Man in the trailer is in episode 1.
Okay.
Because literally, and Tila's the first character. I mean, Tila has speaking lines that we see her before we see He-Man in the series. Mm-hmm. It's the first episode, even though He-Man does a sacrifice, it's all about Tila. She's getting promoted. She's becoming Man-at-Arms, the Man-at-Arms. She's taking her dad's place.
Oh, okay.
Right in the court. It's all about her. And then her being bitter about not finding, not realizing, being lied to about all this time about Adam being He-Man, because it all comes out. She's there when it happens.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's Skeletor and He-Man out of the picture. Yeah, so and it's all about the rest of the series. The rest of the 5 episodes all about Tila and her friend, and then various people, and they see all these other various people. And basically, and Evil Lyn. Evil Lyn's a major character. So it's Evil Lyn, Tila, and Tila's friend, and various other people, like Roboto's on the team for part of it. Beastman's on the team for part of it. You see Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms is the when they say there's no strong male characters, Man-at-Arms is the best male character in this series, but he's literally only in a couple episodes and barely in those. Right? But when he is there, Man-at-Arms is awesome. Okay. And if that's the direction they want to go with this movie, I don't have a problem with it, right? I don't have a problem. Everyone's all like, it's either black or white. Either like, oh, if you didn't like it, it's because you don't like strong female characters. I'm like, no, that's not it. My problem is that this was not the series we were sold. Right? It was, and if it was sold, it was direct. And what gets me is I don't understand why Kevin Smith came out so hard. Like, I get denying it to try and keep, a leak from getting out or something like that. But he came out hard and insisted on these things that are not right. They're not true. So I don't know what to think about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It seems strange.
Well, I mean, you can always go back and say, no, He-Man did not step aside because he died.
Yeah, because he died. You're right. But
now literally all about He-Man, that. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That you can't really argue. Yeah.
Right. Now, here's the thing. They go to heaven and find Adam.
Oh, nice.
Because that's where they seen King Grayskull and Hero and all these legendary Eternians. They're all in heaven. So basically, they go to the realm of the dead. They go to hell, heaven and hell, to find the 2 pieces of the power sword that got broke. And in heaven, they find Adam. So, but he's never He-Man again, right? And then they tell him that you can leave with him. This is in the the 5th episode, right? So he's in none of the build up to that. So he's in the beginning and he's in the end. So literally, you see He-Man for a few minutes in the first episode, and that's it, right? And then, right at the end, he's supposed to turn into He-Man to save everything, and there's a dramatic cliffhanger, and he doesn't. He doesn't. So you don't ever see He-Man again. He-Man's in a few minutes of episode 1.
Wow.
No He-Man. And Teela's carrying the power sword, and Teela's saving the world. And yeah, and they kill off characters left and right. There is, there is. I mean, I kind of like what they did with some of the things. It's like magic is gone in Eternia, so everything turns more technic. So instead of mutants,
there's
there's a lot of there's Orko.
Orko's there.
Orko's there, yes, but
how's he alive with no magic?
He's dying because of magic, without lack of magic. There's like a magical spring that's barely dripping magic, and that's how Man-at-Arms keeps him alive. But here's the thing, and I will say, okay, this is spoiler. We're into spoiler territory. They kill off Orko, okay? And what's weird is Kevin Smith did a interview with Hector Navarro, and basically spilled this that they killed Orko. And since then, this interview's been re-edited. Like, you can't find it. You can find it because the internet, nothing goes away on the internet. But if you go check out the interview, that part's cut out. So, and I don't know what Kevin Smith was, extra high that day or what was going on, but he was basically, I watched it, and he basically said, like, oh yeah, we want to take a character that no one liked in the past and make you love this character, and then, kind of revel in it when we kill him off in front of you, right? So you build up Orko and his redemption story and then kill him off. And I'm like, wow. And I don't think he said Orko in the interview, but he's all like, you take this this bumbling character that no one liked back in the day. Like, it's either him or Cringer, right? And you're like, all right, it's not Cringer. Yeah. Clearly it's Orko he's talking about, right? And, we give him a heroic sacrifice or whatever. And I'm just like, man. But the way he described it was, he's just like, he just did it to, piss people off. So I was saying, like, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kevin Smith, because, if he would have just said, yeah, we're focusing on Teela, right, and not come out so hard against it, it wouldn't be. I mean, that's fine, right? Mm-hmm. As a whole, the story is a little. I like what they did with Eternia. I like what they did with updating some of the characters. I love the animation. I love the fact that they brought in like all your toys from the toy box to be used in here, right? I think that's awesome. I don't mind Teela being the hero. That's not the show that we were sold, right? We were sold one show and we got another.
Yeah.
So that part is upsetting. And again, it's only halfway through it, right? They haven't released the second half yet. So we'll see how the story goes. But, so far, 2 minutes of He-Man when he's on literally on the marketing, right? I mean, they're marketing in the background here, right? See, the main character is like, oh, there's like Teela's friend over here, off the shoulder here. And Teela, which is, I don't even see Teela. She's gone hidden somewhere. So, but literally, the marketing is He-Man in the middle and those in the background when it's not. That's not the story.
Right.
So I don't know, Doug. You have a take on this at all?
I was never a huge He-Man fan, so I don't have a lot of vested interest in it.
Yeah.
It is perplexing why you would deny something so stringently with literally no way out of your comments.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the truth is. Why would you say this? I'm like, I don't get it.
So, I mean, eventually everybody's going to see it and they're going to know you're lying. So why would you do that? Yeah, I mean, one, Teela was my second favorite character. So I'm not upset in that sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe third. Her or her dad kind of like we're neck and neck for.
Yeah. Well, you'd like Man-at-Arms in this series. Man-at-Arms is awesome in this series.
He was always very cool in the cartoons. So, so neck and neck on those two. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't have been upset about that. I would be upset if it were. I mean, it sounds like I don't want to necessarily go there. It sounds like corporate, like, oh, we need to open this toy line up to girls buying it, so we're going to make it all about the girls, and then you
Right.
lose your male audience to about it. So it's like, come on, can't you have an even hand in dealing with these characters? It's,
I mean, we had a She-Ra reboot, which was pretty good. I actually liked the She-Ra reboot, right? Dealing with the Horde and that. And it wasn't male-centric. They didn't go like, oh, let's change this up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She-Ra dies and loses her sword, and that boy toy she had picks it up. I don't even remember what his name was.
Yeah, like, the archer guy with the heart in his chest. Bo.
Yeah. Bo.
Yeah.
He picks up her sword, and now he's He-Ra.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, here's the thing. She-Ra was clearly designed for girls. He-Man was clearly designed for boys. That was the intent. But boys and girls watched and played with both, right? I watched She-Ra as a kid. I wanted the Horde toys and She-Ra toys. I wanted She-Ra to have along with He-Man, right? So I don't understand, and we have that strong female character there. I don't know why they couldn't just and it was a merged universe. Why can't they just have that? And when the reboot of He-Man came along, like, it's going to get the same treatment. It's like, great. We get to see continuation of this, and then it's not, right?
Yeah. I think the problem we run into is if He-Man comes back at another point then it feels cheap.
Yeah.
If he never comes back, you piss off the established fans who wanted nostalgia, which you sold them.
Yes. Exactly. You sold them on the nostalgia, and it's like, okay, well,
if you had called this, Eternia.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and not He-Man, you
put Tila in the front and center of the marketing, not He-Man, not the guy that's in it for only 2 minutes.
Yep.
Anyways,
yeah.
But
that's my only take on it.
I will say another positive for this is the voice acting. All right, the voice acting is amazing. Especially a call out, especially would be like Lena Hensley from Game of Thrones voicing Evil Lynn. Evil Lynn was a standout character in this. So, which is not something you normally see. But yeah, Evil Lynn was awesome. Mark Hamill is the voice of Skeletor. As always, Mark Hamill is amazing. However, my only gripe is, how Skeletor, he's like quippy and giving people nicknames and stuff like that, right? Okay. Which he did in the old series, right? He called, Beastman Furface all the time. He'd call him, and he was, kind of a little quippy like that with his guys. But doing it with Mark Hamill's voice, it's smacks of the Joker, right? And I know, because, in your head, you can't help but hear the joke, because he sounds like the Joker making fun of people, right? And you're like, because it's kind of similar, again, voice. And you're like, okay, he's doing a great job, but when he's playing the character the way the character is supposed to be, right?
Got it, yeah.
But in that voice, doing those clips like that, it's like, okay, it reminds me a little too much of the Joker. So,
that's
but yeah, so that's there's that. My only thing about that. Okay, enough of Masters of the Universe. There you have it, folks. I hate to say that. I did not comment on this the entire time that came out. Like when it first dropped and Kevin Smith came out hard against it, I'm like, okay, yeah, well, Kevin Smith's clearly set the record straight, right? And then when the reviews started coming out this week and I started reading them, I'm like, I got to hold out. I'm not going to say anything. I got to hold out hope. I got to see this, right? Because who knows what critics see, what I mean. And then when I watched it myself, I'm like, okay, well, that's what he said was not true. Okay, moving on. Move from one disappointment to the next.
Yeah, I was going to say another disappointment from our childhood.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. So it doesn't look good for a Snake Eyes movie, guys. Early reactions declare the film an unmitigated disaster and devoid of energy. The best they got from critics is that it wasn't as bad as they expected.
How do you ruin the best and coolest and most beloved G.I. Joe character?
Yeah. I mean,
there is nobody who dislikes Snake Eyes. How do you ruin that?
Because, how do you do that? How You take the best character, the key figure selling of the franchise, and then ruin them like this. Alberto Gonzalez said his quote is a total and utter disaster for the character's history, legacy, and canon. As a true fan and collector of the IP for 40 years, this movie broke my heart. Wow. He's your audience right there. You know what I mean? Wow. Jermaine Lucier said Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins is not very good. It's repetitive and devoid of energy. The character arcs are all over the place, and the G.I. Joe stuff feels completely superfluous. So I heard this from several people that the G.I. Joe aspects felt tacked on. Several critics have said this seems like a movie that they just took the script for and then tacked on G.I. Joe to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. This character, martial artist number 1 is going to be Snake Eyes, and he's going to train with martial artist 2, who's going to be
Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow or Storm Shadow's father. I don't know which it's supposed to be in this movie. It should be his father, but but no. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not sure.
No, it's Storm Shadow. It's Storm Shadow. Because here's why I know it's Storm Shadow. Because they revealed that in the trailer, and that reveal in the trailer, Doug, is the mid-credit scene, the after-credit scene. So that they reveal the end scene, the very last scene of the movie, and the end credit scene in the trailer.
Wow.
So in the trailer,
they had no confidence in the movie.
They had no confidence in the movie. I mean, and I get the one. The one is where he's putting on a Snake Eyes costume, right? Where he lowers the visor. That's the very last scene of the movie. Because it's an origin film. I get it. He's not in a Snake Eyes costume until the end, right? He's not Snake Eyes until the end of the movie. But that's the last scene. They show that in the trailer, and I get them showing that in the trailer. They got to get people, hey, this is Snake Eyes. But the mid-credit scene where the Baroness is revealing Cobra and, Storm Shadow reveals his name on the plane, that's the mid-credit scene. And they revealed it in the trailer. So this is not. I didn't put the spoiler warning up for this because they showed it in the trailer.
Yeah. So
I'm like,
man, I feel like I could have rewrote this movie to be better sitting here right now in my head.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Matt Najulia says Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins has nonstop action consisting of sword fights, motorcycle chases, and giant snakes, but all of it's dull and unmemorable, with hasty storytelling and an unlikable protagonist. The latest attempt to revitalize G.I. Joe series rolls the dice and fails again. So, that's another thing they said about the storyline is that Snake Eyes is kind of an asshole, right? He's an unlikable character, and that Storm Shadow is completely justified in his hatred of him by the end of it.
Nice.
It's like
Storm Shadow they don't even follow. Oh man,
they don't even follow. So I mean, I guess his Snake Eyes' dad dies, and he wants to find out. Cobra knows who killed his dad, and to do that, he's going to infiltrate this family. Snake Eyes' father dies. He wants to know. Cobra knows who killed his father, and in order to do that, he has to sneak in and steal something, right? So, on Storm Shadow's side, he takes this guy in. He treats him like family. He introduces him, right? And then this guy starts, wrecking his house, right? Stealing stuff and everything. And then at the end, I guess he comes to the conclusion that the price is too high for what he's doing. But at that point, he's been a jerk the entire movie. And you're like, it's like people came out of it. Like, I came out of this on Storm Shadow's side. How did that happen? I'm like,
freaking.
So,
yeah. Who are the writer and directors of this show? They need to be drummed out of Hollywood forever.
Yeah. Well, the writer probably wrote a script. They were not thinking Snake Eyes. They were like, oh, here's this awesome script. And then, let's tack on G.I. Joe to this instead of writing an original script. I also hear that the action is very shaky cam. So in a martial arts film, you don't want shaky cam, right? The whole, when you're dealing with martial arts, the whole view of it, the best shots are the one-on-one shots with the guys fighting, right?
Yeah, you want choreography and stuff you don't want.
Yeah. You want choreography, you don't want shaky cam. So, all in all, I was like, I started off this week going, yeah, Snake Eyes this weekend. And then I'm like, I don't want to leave the house for that.
Yeah. And now I feel justified in going, I'm not going to see that anytime soon.
Exactly. Like,
I've got other things to spend my money on. Not doing that.
Yeah. All right. Let's run down some rumors. And we're going to run down some rumors and go through them. Rate them 1 to 5, how likely we think they are. Psst, rumor time. First rumor, Haley Atwell's Captain Carter from What If could make a live-action cameo in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness next year. I first saw this on the rumor on We Got This Covered, which I don't cover those rumors because they're all crap. But this popped up on several other places. So, what do we think, Doug? 1 to 5 being 1 never going to happen, 5 is definitely going to happen. 3? 3. I wouldn't have thought it. But
yeah, I mean, Loki's... they got her in to do the... Yeah, Loki's opened the door to a lot. They got her in to do the voice acting. Why not put her in a costume for 30 seconds of film?
Yeah. And she seems like... Haley Atwell seems like she would totally be up for it. So yeah. When you hear rumors, interviews with her playing Peggy Carter.
Yeah, I don't think it's a done deal, but it would be cool. And 2... I could see it happening. It's not
3.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
I'm going to give this one a 4, and that's probably just sheer hope because I want to see it so bad. But I think it could happen, right? And especially when they're having rumors saying that What If is going to play a larger role in the MCU than what we originally thought it was going to be. So we'll see what happens there.
What's this next one about?
Next one's about so the next one is about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Oh, okay.
So, a new story from TMZ theorizes that Letitia Wright is. Yep. Letitia Wright is booted off the movie and replaced by Michaela Cole, who was cast in a mysterious role. It was very hush hush about what role she's going to play. Because she was recently cast and her role is firmly on the wraps. And the reasoning they're saying behind this is because of her anti-vax tweets that she's been putting out last year.
Oh.
So, which got her into trouble at the time. And now they're saying that, that TMZ is reporting that she's being replaced by Michaela Cole. Right now, TMZ is the only one saying this. So, Matt. Welcome, Matt. Yeah, his comments about Agent Carter. That's a big Union Jack they need. All right, Doug, what do we think? 1 to 5. How likely is this?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. At first, you're like, okay, there's no way they can get rid of Letitia Wright, but then it's like. It is Disney. And it's not out of the realm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to put this probably a 2, maybe a 3. I mean, I don't think it's a done deal, but it's possible. But I don't know. It seems a little. I would have thought that if Disney were going to get rid of her, there would have been a bigger hey, we don't agree with this. We think she's wrong, and we're not going to be able to do business with her.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But then again, I mean, this movie's gone through so many rewrites. It's like they're trying to figure out what to do. Yeah,
because at this point, you might want to just. I mean, they've already said they're not going to
recast.
They're not going to recast. So I don't know, soft reboot.
Yeah, I'm like
a new Shuri and a new, make Lupita.
She was so good at. She was so good.
Yes, she was. She was. So I would be disappointed to see that.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, here's a place where you deviate from the comics, and you don't have Shuri become the Black Panther. You have one of the other two women become Black Panther.
Lupita Nyong'o character,
or the
Okoye.
Yeah. Either one, I think, would work as based in the MCU. I think would work as Black Panther. Lupita probably better, because there's that emotional connection between the two. So I think that would be a good call, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2 as well. And again, this is probably just me hoping that it's not true.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one from Geekosity Outlet. There's a claim that Henry Cavill will reprise his role as Superman at the end of Black Adam, which sounds like he could show up in like a post-credit scene for the movie. What's more, they're also saying that he will be in his black costume from the Zack Snyder Justice League series. So, what do we think about this one? I've never heard of Geekosity Outlet, but
yeah, I think I'm going to go at 2 on this. I don't think you hold something like this. I mean, yes, it would be a cool scene, but you don't. If you're Warner Brothers, you don't announce that you're keeping Cavill on as Superman by having him show up in a post-credit scene that half the audience isn't going to see.
Right. Unless they do something like they did for Shazam, where they just had the body double in there from the neck down.
Already having done that, you kind of have to come out strong if you're keeping Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah.
If you guys came to an accord, and because I think he's basically has said he's still up for it.
Yeah.
But they were kind of soft on it. It's like if you came to an agreement, you tell people that.
Yeah.
You announce it.
Everybody that wants it to happen,
Yeah. So
yeah, I agree. I'm going to give this a 2 as well.
Yeah.
2 is also hopeful that it might happen. All right, guys, we got a little bit of time left. Let's jump into our smaller stories, our geek bites, our nerd nuggets, if you will. Nerd nuggets. All right, so I'll kick us off here. Further proof that Charlie Cox has been rumored to be in Spider-Man and She-Hulk, right? It's more likely in She-Hulk. We know he's coming back, but he's rumored to be in the Spider-Man movie. When he canceled his conventional appearances this summer due to unexpected filming date changes, right after it was announced Spider-Man had to go back in for reshoots, right? And the dates line up. So he canceled 2 conventions, and both of them are within the reshoot dates of Spider-Man. So it was last-minute cancellations, and it's a last-minute filming announcement, so everyone's all like, oh, he's filming Spider-Man.
Nice.
What do you think, Doug? You think is that proof?
I mean, that's pretty good evidence.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Again, hope so.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Because he's not attached officially to any other projects right now that should be filming. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Especially ones that would like have to have him cancel convention plans last minute for filming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm hoping.
All right. Interesting here. Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk / Kingpin will return in Disney Plus's Hawkeye. It said Daredevil was also supposed to appear in the series, but scheduling issues prevented that from happening. Hawkeye will reportedly be tied into Spider-Man No Way Home in a bigger way than expected, hence why the show is going to hit the streaming service around the same time the movie is released. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's super exciting. I would love to have seen Daredevil in there as well, but apparently the rumor is that Spider-Man filming interfered with this. So,
interesting. All right.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited to see Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin, no matter what, no matter where it is. Right. I mean, the best Kingpin out there. I don't think after his performance of Kingpin, he's got the look. He's a great actor. I can't imagine anybody else in that role.
Right. Yeah. That is kind of a problem with actors like that. Just kind of ruin it for any future.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Me. 1 second here to pull something up for. All right, so Amazon has finally set a premiere date for its adaptation of Robert Jordan's sprawling series of fantasy novels, Wheel of Time. So it's going to be out in November. So that's exciting. We're actually going to get Wheel of Time this year. We're supposed to get Lord of the Rings as well, but we don't know when that's coming. But we also have a new poster for it. Let me just pull that up real quick. I'll share that poster with you guys. All right. So we got Moraine on there. So Moraine's the one they've been focusing. Rosamund Pike's Moraine is the one they've been focusing on quite a bit with this series. Like all the little teasers we get are of her. The only person we've seen in costume is her, right? We even had one little clip, that like 3-second clip of her wielding magic in her blue outfit with the troll locket behind her attacking Edmund's Field. So, I mean, Rosamund Pike's a great actress. I like her, and I think out of all the casting, that's my favorite of it. And in order for them to pull this off, you need a strong Moraine to anchor this series, especially the early parts.
Especially for the early parts, yeah.
So, I don't know. Are you excited about Wheel of Time, Doug? More excited than nervous? I don't know. Or cautiously optimistic?
Here's the thing is, I'm not sure I'm enthused about it enough to get Amazon Prime. Not.
What about Lord of the Rings is also on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I know. I might have to wait.
When they're both out together, I'll get Amazon Prime.
I might have to wait until they're both all out, because I don't know if they drop like whole shows or if they filter them out. I might have to just wait until it's all out, pick it up for a month, binge them both, and then cancel.
They cancel it. Nah. Yeah.
Screw you, Bezos.
Yeah. Fair enough. Which of the two are you more excited for? Wheel of Time or Lord of the Rings?
Probably Lord of the Rings, because I think they can do less damage there.
They can do less. You'll mess up the first or the third age.
I mean, I think they'll be okay there. There's a lot of wiggle room to do stuff and do fun stuff. I'm not super confident they're gonna nail
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah, Wheel of Time it's tricky, right? And it's just one of those things where, man, a whole bunch of stuff has to fall in line for it to work, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll see. What else we got?
There have been lots of rumors about plans for live-action versions of Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Ahsoka series come to Disney Plus, and a new report claims to confirm who is playing them. Aladdin star Mina Massoud will play the young Jedi who disappeared alongside Thrawn in the season finale of Rebels. As for Thrawn, we're sure many of you will be pleased to learn that Lucasfilm has turned to Lars Mickelson to reprise the role.
Yeah. And so this is Lars Mickelson is the voice of Thrawn in the series. So they're taking the voice actor to play him, but he's also Mads Mikkelsen's brother, right?
Okay.
And Mads Mikkelsen was one of the ones that were like, oh, he should play the role. But, it's his brother who did the voice of Thrawn. If he's as good an actor as his brother, I mean, we know he's good in Rebels.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture this guy in blue face paint and see.
You're like,
maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's one of those weird ones that he gets the role, and but Mina Massoud,
is that the actual Aladdin?
I think that's Aladdin. The guy who played Aladdin, which
I kind of liked him.
Yeah,
I liked him in
and
Aladdin.
he looks the part. A grown up Ezra. So absolutely
He needs to change his hair, but
Yeah. Needs to pull his pants up and comb his hair. But yeah. So I don't know. You excited about this casting?
If it's true, yeah, it would be cool to see them both in. Yeah, I would love to see live action Admiral Thrawn. Would be amazing.
Been wanting to see live action Admiral Thrawn since the early 90s.
Yeah, true. True. And with his reimagining in Rebels, his story doesn't have to end the way it did, and you can do a lot more with him. He can be.
Yep. Yeah.
You just got to find a way for him to survive past the First Order, so we can have a really cool bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
like how I'm hearing people talk like an admiral. How is a guy with no force powers that they'll leave a threat? I'm like, come on, a competent Imperial. That's what I gotta say. People with that kind of resources, only competent.
Yeah,
imagine that. And they're like, okay, yeah, I can see that could be. All right. So, Executive VP of Film Production at Marvel Studios, Victoria Alonso, teased a few other shows and revealed a mini studio for Marvel, specifically for Marvel animation on the horizon. Says her quote is, "We have so much in our way that you might tell us, okay, take a break now." Alonso begins. We're going to have our animation branch in a mini studio, and there will be more to come from that as well. We're super excited about animation, which is my first love. So it appears we're going to get a lot more Marvel animation stuff. The fact they're going to have like a little, well, not a full-on studio, but a mini studio dedicated strictly to Marvel animation. First of which will be What If coming out.
Yeah.
So if everything I can see from What If, it looks amazing. I can't wait till that comes out to check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that they're dedicated a studio for this.
Here's the thing is, you don't need a few other shows in animation. Just keep going with what ifs.
Yeah.
Just make it a continual, 24 episodes every season.
Yeah.
And just go with that. Then it doesn't matter what story you tell. You're not screwing with anything in the MCU. You're not, contradicting the movies or, whatever. I think it'd be cool.
Absolutely. Speaking of cool, what's up next, Doug?
All right. As promised, the new trailer for Denny Villeneuve's Dune is now online. And if you weren't already excited about this adaptation of the seminal sci-fi novel, you will be after watching this. The first 10 minutes of Dune screened in IMAX theaters yesterday. And the response from those who've seen it was very positive indeed, and some already hailing Villeneuve's adaptation of Frank Herbert's seminal sci-fi novel as a masterpiece.
If they're calling it a masterpiece after 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, what 10 minutes did they show? Because holy.
Well, it says the first 10 minutes.
Oh, so the first 10 minutes.
If that's accurate, it depends what we're doing, because that shouldn't be anything super exciting.
That puts it up there. Yeah, I said that puts it right there with like New Hope. Like first 10 minutes of A New Hope, you knew that was, it opened up that way. But Dune doesn't. The story doesn't open that way, right?
I'm hoping. Well, if it was the encounter between Reverend Mother Moham and Paul, that's pretty dramatic. So if it was that scene included in it, I could see you going, okay, all right, I got the view of what's going on. You have him fighting Gurney, and you have him encounter Moham. Those are two cool scenes to start off the movie with. So, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I can tell you what, the trailer's a masterpiece. That trailer is amazing. I mean, I was always excited, and I was always going to go see this movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this is definitely an IMAX movie. I know it's coming out at the same time, HBO Max, but unless you have a giant screen TV with surround sound in your living room, or your own home theater, go to IMAX and see this.
Like in a wheelchair, or got two broken legs, or you're immunocompromised. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Go to the theater.
Go to the theater to see this. Oh, man. Yeah, it looks amazing. All right. Silverhawks animated series is getting a reboot. Remember the Silverhawks, Doug?
Oh yeah, I loved them.
Love the Silverhawks, man. These cyborg guys like
Goose.
with wings. Goose, yeah.
Goose was my favorite.
Yeah, they had they had a guitar that fired musical notes at people. That was amazing.
But you know what? I'm thinking I may be thinking the wrong show.
You're thinking of like
Galaxy Rangers or
Galaxy
something like
Rangers, yeah. That's what I'm thinking, yeah. But because this was like the all the metal, the silver, chrome plated hawks. They had their they had the hawk outfits, and the one guy wore a cowboy hat, and their pilot had a cowboy hat and a guitar, and he played music, and musical notes flew out of into the guitar to shoot people.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I know all you people listening to this right now thinking that sounds dumb as hell, but it's not. I guarantee you. It holds up like everything else in the 80s from my childhood. I guarantee it. I haven't watched it in forever, but I guarantee you that held up. Just like the A-Team and all the
Spaceship Motto,
all the other stuff from my childhood. I know it holds up. So it was announced early July by Deadline that the Nacelle company is working to have the show carry the Silverhawks, reboot it. They've done
reanimated,
yeah, reanimated. Skip the hand. Hold on, reanimated. At this time, it's not been announced which platform it'll be carrying the Silverhawks. However, the has produced shows for both Disney Plus and Netflix. So, which of the popular reboots such as She-Ra and Thundercats, and now He-Man, all those are on Netflix. So it makes sense for them to keep all that nostalgia in one place. However, Disney Plus is also looking to expand their library of original programming. So, and right now, Netflix is losing subscribers like crazy, and Disney Plus is still growing. So, I mean, I don't know where you want to gamble that on if you're that company. But I still think Netflix, just because has more than animation edge, right? With their own anime stuff and then all the other reboots. But I could see an argument for Disney Plus as well.
So the show reanimated, does that mean they're going to tell the exact same story?
That's a good one. I don't know.
And just update the animation or what? Interesting.
All right. One last bit I want to go over before we're done here. The Green Knight. Have you seen trailers for the Green Knight, Doug?
One early on.
Yeah.
That looked super like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's getting very, getting into the mystical elements of this, but it's a highly anticipated adaptation of not King Arthur's story, but a King Arthur story. It's not going to hit theaters in the UK as it intended. So the Green Knight, the medieval Arthurian tale coming from A24, has been pulled from its theatrical release in the UK just 2 weeks before its debut. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed that the film will not premiere on August 6th in the UK, with no new date given, and cinemas advised to withdraw all their trailers and posters until further notice. There's been no confirmed reason for the Green Knight being pulled, but it might be due to the Delta variant of COVID that's been like rampaging through the area. You know what I mean? I can't imagine. It's not being pulled anywhere else, so I don't think it's a problem with the movie itself. I think it's okay. I think it's just a matter of just in the UK it's being pulled. So, So if you're in the UK and you're hoping to see the Green Knight, you guys might have to wait a little bit longer. So, sorry. All right. Well, guys, that about does it for us. I'm gonna wrap up our show here. Don't forget, if you want to continue on and keep this party going in a half hour at 7:30, we're going to be over on the Grizzled War Master, and the link will be down below. When we'll be doing our debut of what's the name of our podcast? Glory. Podcast to Glory. It's our Age of Sigmar tabletop miniature game podcast where we go heavy geek into all the tabletop miniature gaming. So join us over there for that, or you can check out if you want more of the general geek culture stuff and comic books specifically. You can go check out the Absolute Geek Podcast. Will be premiered at the same time over on the Absolute Geek Podcast YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you again next week. We will get to all your nerd news and the Arizona's premier geek podcast for Friday nights. the Grizzled Geek. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.